Weiser.
Here.
Sofa.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Wayrum.
Here.
Zimmer.
Here.
All right, non-agenda items from the sidelines. Bob Riddle.
Yeah, I live on 34551 Pratt Road on the corner of Belver and Pratt. Just here to see if there's anything been started on the flooding issue that I have. We'll get rain tomorrow. It
That's
might
on the
not
agenda,
flood,
right?
but
That's on the agenda, right?
Yes, I think that's what it is.
we'll get rain tomorrow. Maybe not a lot of rain, but it's still gonna have water laying in there. I'm just here to come back, see if anything's been started, if anybody started anything. That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. We've got that further on in the agenda.
Good.
Okay. Jim Fields.
Jim Fields, 80263 Bell River Road. Close of the meeting, there was rather extensive comments. I'll look at each one of you, and I was asked what I wanted or what we wanted. I want to remind you that you're a public body. You're a public body and you're public employees, so you're public servants, you're not volunteers. There's rules and laws and everything on how it's conducted and how business is conducted. So my want is that those become more of a focus than the scramble. And the scramble doesn't do anybody any good because it creates shortcuts or it creates problems or it creates opportunities for things to come into play that are challenging or frustrating or uncomfortable, and it puts people in bad positions. I'll also remind that, the council and planning commissions, your meetings and your minutes, there's been conversations and agreements and agendas, and there were motions put forward based on agreements and public hearings, and those are all on the record. And there were votes, and those votes and those stipulations carry, even if it wasn't this council or this members or this mayor that put those in place. Those are the foundation and the building blocks to things that are in play now. And those steps and those motions and those votes cannot be overlooked when we're looking at things. So, again, we go to the shortcuts, and those contribute to things we have now. The water issue is a big issue. We have changes in grades, and what that has done is created a situation where you're allowing trespassing. The DPW's failure in the extended water is allowing a trespass on properties. The construction with the change in the grades with increased water flow is allowing a trespass. This is all part of the Michigan Supreme Court's rulings. The city of Burton just lost a major one 3 years ago. What's going to happen next, and we can talk about it now, like Bob's property. Tim brought up a great point with DPW. Everything goes back on his property. And as that flow changes, it's changing the natural flow, which is protected, but when you increase it, nobody has the right to increase that flow. So Tim, the backside of your property, like we talked about DPW, is going to see an advanced flow. If that's not controlled, that advanced flow creates a hardship and is a trespass on your property. So it's just a stack of dominoes that fall. So these things, they're pretty much a priority to address. I'm not going to talk about the preliminary plan or phase 2. That's a completely separate issue. I just wanted to make sure that, I don't have to be pro-Memphis and at the same time be pro anybody's decision. That's why there's different people sitting up here, because you have a difference of opinions and you have different personalities. Okay, so being pro-Memphis and not agreeing on something are two completely unrelated things. I just want to be really clear on that. Everything I'm doing is, in my eyes, very pro-Memphis, but in a way where it's pro-rules, regulations, the past, the building blocks, and the dominoes, because the foundation's just shaky, and you're starting to see these effects from other citizens and myself, and it's not going to go away. It's just they're not going to fix themselves. That's all I really have. So I appreciate everyone sitting here. I just want to clarify because you asked, what do I want? That's what I want. I hope. thank you for not moving rocks through my fence. I appreciated that.
City administration? You want to start?
Yeah, on June 12th, the city office will be closed for a few hours. We're gonna go to a St. Clair County Clerks meeting. So we'll probably close around 11. I'm hoping to be back by 2:30.
11 to 2:30.
Yeah, maybe sooner, it just depends on what they've got on.
Where's the meeting at?
Guy Community Center in Marine City.
Chief?
Hey, Buffett.
Barb?
I just want to let everybody know that tomorrow Nelson Tank will be coming in to do a water tower inspection. They will be inspecting the wet interior and they will be doing an inclusion to the exterior to see if it's bank or paint.
Is that a yearly?
Every 5 years.
5 years, okay. You know what time they're coming?
11 o'clock.
Okay.
Right now.
Chief?
We had another successful pancake breakfast Memorial Day. Made about $800 with it, so that was good. And the parade, I think, went off well this year. It seemed a lot less hectic than last year's was. I think we had a good day. The weather was pretty great. That's all.
Parks and Rec, two? Yeah, Parks and Rec?
So we have our art tour on Friday from 6 to 7:30, all 8 sites throughout the town. We have a smart bus. People are invited to walk or drive, whichever they want to do. And then next Friday is our senior lunch and a trip to Jimmy John Arena in the evening. And then our music in the park starts up Wednesdays. So
This Wednesday?
the music in the park starts July 2nd. It runs through August 20th every Wednesday.
July.
Did we get that playground equipment put in?
I'm not sure. I looked yesterday.
Yeah, I did pick up the concrete
Okay.
and again, this week probably going to happen, weather permitting.
Great. I'm excited.
Oh. There he is. Code enforcement?
It would be nice if we had everybody's address on the mailbox of the house. And I'm working on the grass, the weather obviously, now it's gonna rain again. And I'm trying to cut my own. Try to enforce that. People parking on the grass in front of their home is another issue. That, makes it look not as desirable as it
Is
should.
that against any of our codes?
Parking on the grass.
Is that against any of our codes?
Yeah, it should be, yes.
Should be.
Yes, I think this was something that was brought up last.
Yeah, I know it's brought up, but I don't know if
We never-
if it was ever put in the ordinance.
Well, I can't put it in. I'm not the gentleman that puts it in.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
a great
think we
idea
put it in.
because
I don't
I
they
think you
park
guys voted that
on the
down.
grass and it just makes ruts, it makes it look like, not a neighborhood.
If it's not in our ordinance, we can't really enforce it.
Correct.
Is the house numbers on mailboxes, isn't that required? Isn't that a requirement?
It is,
A
but
postal service
it's
requirement?
really not. We could write that, but are we gonna enforce it?
Yeah.
It's actually for the fire department and the police department. It would be quicker and easier for them to see the address displayed.
You gotta remember though, there's a lot of houses that don't have mailboxes.
Yeah, we got a lot,
Right.
Or
we
they're
got a lot of
grouped
PO
in,
boxes.
you know.
Yeah, I know on Bell River, there's that run, so.
Doesn't the fire department sell signs?
We sell
On
addresses.
the house, everybody has a house, they put it on the house then. I mean, they
Well,
get there,
they do sell reflective signs.
Correct.
The fire
piece of
department.
wood, anything,
Yeah, there's just like green with white lettering, and you put them in a little,
Yep.
down in the ground.
Wouldn't that be a
Right.
good idea for that? So we're working on cars on the front and grass cutting and jumping debris. It seemed to have improved, I thought. Still working. The grass behind the houses on Bell River and Pratt, the gentleman I talked to says that he no longer cuts it, and some other, or people that own it are the ones that are supposed to be
It was
cutting.
being cut last night, I know that.
Was it?
I saw
Right,
it.
it was cut.
He did forward my voicemail and number, but the gentleman never called me, so I looked.
I think it's a younger kid on a brush hog.
Yeah, Mark sends him over. He's on a
He's on a
tear.
brush hog.
Because he said he no longer make.
No,
Yeah, I got it, I just, I seen it today, I'm not sure how
There
far
was
I
a
got it, I don't remember that, but.
Big tractor sitting in the back there, but it wasn't cutting it.
yeah, that was last night, I noticed it.
That's great.
I noticed it today,
That's
I
good.
went on the school, it was cut.
Keep the bugs down. And the little critters would fill out there, flying around.
In fact, it was cut up north, that acreage behind the northern homes on the west side. I think there was a proposal for open grove back in there.
Yeah,
Big field there,
farm.
somebody brush hogged that too, so. And that's rare to see that.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the regular meeting minutes of May 6, 2025.
Hold on. Agenda.
Oh, adoption of agenda. Let me cross it off.
Any amendments?
Yes, I would like to amend the agenda. I think it might be necessary. It does dovetail with the DPW committee meeting that we had, so we'll be discussing home. However, we did have a meeting subsequent to that of the planning commission, where we discussed the same issues, and a lot of people that are here might want to know what the outcome of that was. I thought I'd just repeat it real briefly. We had that meeting on May 13th, complaints about the flooding of existing homes in Memphis Meadows. Those minutes are in your pack, I trust you all read them. The suggestion on that meeting was to shoot the grades on the west side of Bell River and come up with solutions to solve that problem.
Isn't that on item one,
Pardon me?
under unfinished
Yeah, well, I
business?
just wanted to preface this by saying we had this planning commission meeting also, and
Oh.
rather than wait for minutes and then go another 4 weeks, which made it 6 weeks, I wanted to make sure people knew that we were trying to act on these. And so, at that meeting on the 21st, planning commission.
We're not,
What is that?
we're just doing the agenda right now,
Yeah,
so.
where you at?
Yeah, well, I want to add the agenda, I'm trying to
Where do you wanna
explain
add?
why I want to add it. Because we
Just-
have, it's a separate issue,
Yeah.
because it was included in the planning commission minutes.
Yeah, just add it and then we'll
Just
talk
add it,
about it when we
yeah.
get to it.
All right, then we'll do that. If you don't want any further explanation, I was just trying to be informative and transparent. What I wanted to add then is the recommendation that we brought up, seconded and passed, was a motion made to shoot the grades on the west side of Bell River on the existing Memphis Metals bill, and also have B&J assess and make recommendations to the city to restore proper drainage from the Lone subdivision under Pratt Road, which involves our culvert and.
So we need to
Yes,
have
and
an
I did.
item to
Just add it
discuss
to
the
the
planning
agenda,
commission.
we'll talk about all that when we get to it.
Unfinished business, line item 1A, planning
Yeah,
commission
we'll do
recommendation.
1A.
Yeah, 1A.
DPW and planning.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Any other amendments?
Yes, under new business number 9, add the millage from the school. If anybody else doesn't have anything, I make motion to accept the agenda.
Support.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar.
Yes.
Approval of regular meeting minutes of May 6, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion to
26 on the agenda.
That would have been
We don't
the,
have a regular minutes.
yeah, we don't have the
It's a
regular.
special budget. Yeah.
That's a special council meeting. Okay, we'll move that to next month's meeting.
Are we approving the May 19 ones?
Can we go out of order like that, Donna? Yeah,
Yeah, because that, well, that's on the budget.
Do we have to approve this?
yes, because it was an official meeting.
So,
Do we need to amend this as well then, the agenda from May 6th to May 19th?
I would.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to amend the agenda for letter F to be approval of regular, special budget meeting minutes from May 19th, 2025.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dumper,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
So now I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from May 19th, 2025.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dumper,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Alright, presentation approval of May disbursements of electronic wire transfers.
I make a motion to approve May disbursements of $121,165.18 and electronic wire transfers in the amount of $21,237.66.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dumper,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa.
Alright. Need a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Support.
Any comments for the budget? 2025-26 budget?
Yeah, I'll just, I told John I'll read it, digest the portion, not condense it, a lot. But the city operating taxable value is, is $34,588,000 at 524. So about $34.5 million. The millage for the city is 13.3457, and it generates a revenue collectively of $461,591. Now the city roads, same taxable value. The millage is 1.8668, and that revenue from that is $64,570. And the police operating millage is 2.8655, and that generates $99,113. Okay, the page here. Okay, now the major accounts is about 5 of them, and I'll give you the revenue, the expenditures, and the surplus. The general fund is revenue $1,067,285, and the expenditures is $1,064,188. And the surplus for this year in the general fund is just a little over $3,000, $3,097. Major streets, the revenue is $268,998. The expenditures is $234,829. And the surplus is $34,829. The local streets is $274,998. And the expenditures is $271,026. The surplus is $3,690. And the police department revenue is $423,410. The expenditures, of course, is the same, $423,410, and then the surplus, of course, is zero. Water and sewer, the revenue is $387, or $380,773, and the expenditures is $387,529, and the surplus is only $244. I'd like to just make one caveat on the police department, and that is that they do include the crossing guards in that of $15,844. So technically, the police department budget is the net of $407,410. So that the police department, even though it says 423, 15, almost 16 comes up for the crossing guards. So that's kind of just the hitting on the main figures there. So I don't know if there's any comments or whatever, but that's kind of the condensed version of the budget.
Any additional comments?
There hasn't been any changes since June 30th.
No.
Okay.
Public hearing, I don't know if anybody else has any comments.
Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Support?
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dumper,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waver.
Yes. You need a motion for the communications?
There is none.
Oh, there are no communications. Oh, there we go. Unfinished business. Number 1, DPW committee and planning. Let's start with the DPW. Recommendation on drainage issues.
Steve?
Yeah, we had a couple things we discussed. The 2 topics that came up germane to the flooding. That was a draft letter we were requesting be sent to the builder to begin construction of the detention pond, just for the reasons, see what kind of response he would give us, whether they're going to accommodate us or not. Secondly, and more important, I think, is our request. After discussion was to have our city engineer firm, BMJ, assess the following. If the elevations of the monuments established on statewide prints are accurate, we need to know if there's an issue with the existing grades. That will determine that, so we'll know once and for all. Examine the drainage issues on the east side of Bell River, the 3 new homes that were built there. And just advise the city, like they would on any kind of project that we might be engaged in, whether it's a rebuild on Boardman or whatever, on how to correct and restore the flow of water out of the lowest Rockland subdivision, because it is not flowing properly. It's leading to the flooding. And estimate materials and costs for culvert repairs or alternative ditching, whatever they came up. So that was a main topic of discussion there. And it was also asked or proposed that the city council reinstall the no parking signs on both sides of Pratt Road from Bell River Road. Now, a week or 2 ago, I had a school bus parked out there on the side of the road too. It's already a circus there. People should not be parking along that road. It's a pedestrian accident waiting to happen. It's a fire thing happening.
You know, after that meeting, I started thinking about that there, you know, now we got houses on both sides of the road like that, and I know years back, it was intentions, and we did have signage to only have parking on one side, because having on both sides obviously created problems for a rescue truck or even in some cases trucks to get through of any sort. And driving from when I was working on the Pratt Road lift station, what brought it back to my mind is we got some no parking signs further west, but the closer you get to where the new houses are, I'm just thinking, where are there, if you have no parking on streets, where's the visitors, let's say for whatever
sides, and they both have ditches.
Yeah,
Neither one
we
is
originally
great.
had the no parking on the north side.
Right, but it wasn't all the way down either. It was only,
No.
I think it was like 200 yards of,
Whatever it was,
from
yeah.
like where the ball field was to about 200 yards down. It wasn't the whole,
And then coming back from our city limits heading eastbound, there's no parking, and then the last sign says no parking on this side of the sign, which kind of opens up like in your area further east, you go beyond that sign, you can park.
well, once you get past Bell River, it opens up more.
Yes.
There's more room
Yes.
in the road, so I don't think that's as much of a
I'm
problem.
just thinking about
Yeah,
people, again, it'd be probably for holidays or special occasions, so I don't think it was ever the intention when the main thing was the baseball going on, people were just plugging that street right up, and it was a safety hazard. So we chose years ago to at least do the north side. And then somewhere in there, we started even doing the south side and to a certain point. And, but to run it all the way down, it's council's choice, but if you put no parking all the way down, not everybody's got big driveways, so there's some homes that can handle 2 cars. How about the ones that only handle 2 or 4 at the most? And
I understand.
is
the
there
logic,
going to have Thanksgiving? Or what?
I understand the logic, but the thing is, with people out of the baseball games, they're still gonna do the same
Well,
thing, unless there's a deterrence for them, they're still gonna do the same
They
thing.
seem to park.
I'll volunteer the Lions parking lot for a shuttle service, they can park down there if they want.
Yeah, no, and again, that's,
Solvable.
we
Doug, is
have,
there a preference to the side of the road that works better for the fire department to get vehicles down Pratt
I
Road?
would rather they not park on the north side because we're most likely gonna go emergency
Down.
status that way.
oh,
Right,
But what about making it no parking during athletic events, if you put up signs like that?
Like it.
Because that's the main time that we have a problem.
Exactly, that's what we're trying to change the
Yeah.
behavior.
Who's using those fields? Is it the
that's what you did.
The school.
the school, and then
Baseball and softball.
in the summer, there's summer leagues that use them all the time too. Like they go through probably the middle to at least end of July, most years, I would say.
The school years ago requested to put a parking lot where there is currently a handicap parking lot,
There's,
and the city shut them down on that.
well, there,
Well, then they turned it in and represented it with handicap only. Well, I didn't check plates, but I've seen that parking lot just jammed.
yeah, and there is, with the new school millage, there is plans for a parking lot
Okay.
somewhere in that area, I don't know where. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know that was one of the things when we sat in on those, meetings with the school, yeah. That was one of the specific things they talked about, is putting a parking lot back there.
Off Pratt Road?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, it's just not ideal, all the parking is up at the school and then you got,
You got a mile to walk too, is that what you're talking? Yeah, that was the whole idea.
It's-
Well, you got a parking lot, well, yeah,
It's
but
not that.
it's not that,
Well, they
it's
end up-
not that far.
They end up walking equidistance, whether they park all the way down
Yeah.
Pratt or they park at the school. It's the
So-
yeah,
same.
exactly. In that case, you're right. People would like to be in fact, some of the violators were the coaches themselves. To unload their equipment,
Yeah.
they'd still stay there, and then cars would.
So
follow
how
suit.
would we do, like, no parking during school events? Or
Could,
during athletic events, during
Could.
usage of the baseball fields?
we could make any sign we want up.
That leaves a lot for the police to enforce it, just kind of. what's going
Specific?
on?
Well, the no parking signs would leave a lot to.
Right, yeah, for sure,
So,
that's-
no matter what
that's
time
nothing.
you got.
And we gotta solve the problem somehow, we're gonna have a bad situation come out of it at one point in time.
I just
We
don't.
got school buses parking on the side of the
Are-
road, this is really getting ridiculous.
Are the no parking signs still there? I haven't seen
Yeah.
that they are. Yeah, they don't follow them anyways.
No,
They park up and down.
and school buses should not really be on that.
Well, they're,
Start.
just so you know, they're
Yeah.
told, they are told to park at the school. That, like, I know
Right.
that.
I'm
They're
sure
told
they
to
are.
park there. Nobody listens.
Right.
Yeah, the only time I remember that they had an excuse to park over there is when I had a water main break across the Park Road.
Well, that would be different.
And they were having a little fit that they couldn't get to the school. And go around this
Yeah,
way.
that's different.
You know, unique situation.
So is there any ordinance that we have to amend for that? We can Since it's city road.
So I remember, again, I just remember I ended up buying signs and we put it on the north side. And I think it was due to the lack of housing being down there at the time, is why we probably chose that site.
So to resolve this issue, this specific issue, and then we can go back to the other ones, I'll make a motion to approve DPW to post no parking during athletic events from where the cement and from Pratt, from Bell River to city limits.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Bart?
Yeah.
Because that's where the cement is,
Yeah,
right?
in west.
On the north side of the road.
Okay.
So they can park on the south, but not on the north, right, Doug? Because that's the side you want to open, because that's the way you're gonna.
That works.
Right, so no parking on the south side of
No parking on the
No
south
parking on
side.
the north side.
On the north.
No parking on the
North
north side,
side.
I got confused. No parking on the north side.
During
sporting
athletic
events.
Well,
events.
I mean, why don't we just say residential parking only? Or,
Oh, that would
you
be
know, that way,
Residential
You really
parking.
have no way of knowing, but you'd know if there's
Yeah.
a million cars in there.
right.
Yeah.
Well, how would you check
No
your car?
parking.
Yeah,
I
but
think no
we're
parking
gonna
would be better, because if you did residential, how, like,
get- Yeah, you can.
what if I'm friends with someone who lives there, right?
Police department gonna, no matter what type of no parking we put up, they're gonna be busy and.
Right.
And
I'm
the
sure
only way
people
you're
get
gonna
that
get their
idea
attention
quick. I think
is
they're over
that
$100
you issue a
for that
ticket,
ticket.
and that word gets out, and hey, we can't park there, this is the sign.
I'll leave it as no parking on the north side during athletic events, let's see what happens, that's my motion.
But the key word is north, during athletic. events.
During athletic events, correct.
Support.
Okay, so, hold on. Okay, Dunbar,
No.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wainwright,
No.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Okay, I have Harper, Mazer, Sofa, Weaver, and Zimmer, yes. Dunbar and Wainwright, no. Motion passed.
So now we need to go back to the other ones. Right?
Drainage?
Yes.
Yes. Which, as a DPW committee, we never had a formal recommendation before it went to planning. And then they made their recommendation, which I'm not 100% sure if it matches what you just read to us, or...
Basically, for the second part of that, verbatim is the same, requesting BMJ to come out through the elevations and examine the drainage issue and come up with some solutions, options to fix that.
One of the things I thought about after, again, like Bart said, because after you leave is when all the good ideas come. Has this been done already? Was this part of their process? Do we know?
What are you talking about? Number two?
Number 2, 1 and 2, yeah.
Wouldn't State Pipe, shoot those elevations?
But that's ours.
Yeah, that's their
BMG.
When they first
BMG.
initially put in that, Robbie, they put monuments in, steel stakes, so surveyors go out there and find them and determine quickly. So it's not a very long process for the front of it.
So what he's asking, do we know if BMJ hasn't already done that?
Yeah.
Do we know?
I would say 99% no, they have to request them to come out there and do that. They're not gonna just go out there and do
Well, I
that.
know they did some initial site
Yeah.
stuff for us over there.
Larry, do you remember if they did that stuff? If BMJ shot the elevations?
East side.
On the east side of Pratt?
No, I don't think the BMJ was involved in
That's
this.
the east
Okay.
side.
Not at all.
No, I don't think.
Maybe earlier on.
Well, maybe it was sometime, but not on this recent.
Not on the 3 houses, right?
The 3 houses on the east side.
Not to my knowledge.
But I know there's an area where that problem area is on the last house. I think the address is 81080300.
Last to the
And to the
south.
corner, but see, our easement only goes 33 feet
We don't have an
outside.
easement yet, just to be clear, we don't have one yet.
A right away, I'm sorry, I said easement, right away, there is no easement. You're
Or,
right.
yeah, there is.
And the
never
furthest
filed.
the city technically could go right now would be just inside of the sidewalk on the property owner side and put a catch basin. That's the best we legally could do right now. To go any further, we need an easement. And I really think that should be something of a civil matter or statewide should be approached about this. Why was this allowed to?
That's
This
what
house
I
is up
wonder
here
whether-
and this house is down here. I don't know who sets the grades for them.
And I wonder with a lot lot of this, like, when does it become a civil matter?
When it's not our property.
Well, none of that's our property.
No.
So when, I mean, out of all this stuff
When
we
you
talk
have
about.
trespass on that property, somebody could go to civil court with that.
And
you've always had-
Exactly, that's a civil matter, that's not a city matter.
In this
That's
one
all.
Well,
corner,
they can sue
you've
the
always
city
had a
or
water
builder.
issue.
I mean, we could get involved in it whether we like it or not, it becomes a civil matter, they say
I don't
the
know,
city's responsible.
two neighbors, I mean, they have some neighbors build up their property and then, because they put like, happens in the country, somebody puts an engineered septic field in.
That's
They-
illegal though, you cannot have water draining onto a neighbor's property.
Exactly, but it's not,
Clear
it's
black
a
letter
civil,
also legal.
it becomes a civil matter. That neighbor
Right.
sues that neighbor.
So
The
how do
municipality
we
doesn't get
help
involved.
and aid determining who is responsible?
The
for that? I think that's what we're
municipality-
trying to do, is give these people
I'll
an
let you
idea
finish
of
talking.
who is gonna be responsible for looking into that.
I'll let
Or
you
we can
finish
just say,
talking.
it's up to you, or is it just up to the people?
All right, I'm gonna finish what I was saying. When does it, I just wanna know, when does it become a civil matter? I know, like, say in the country, somebody builds up their property, they put an engineered field, they flood both their neighbors out. The city doesn't go, the township of Riley doesn't get involved in that.
No.
That becomes a civil matter between those two neighbors. When is that the case here, what we're
I like
talking
to
about?
point out one particular area would be Potter and Henderson Street area.
Exactly, Henderson, we've had this discussion
And this was
before.
a lifelong, and I was able to finally get in there to this one residential, and we were able to kind of clean out a ditch,
Right,
which isn't ideal because you got to clean them out constantly. But that was always a civil matter.
that's what I'm just, I
And there was
remember
terrible
that.
feuding going on over there, but what is the city? We have no easements. This water's back there, yeah, we all can
That's
attest
a
to
neighbor
that.
to neighbor or
But what do we
HOA
do with
to
the
neighbor
water?
or
Well, again,
whatever.
it's not on our property. We're only got so much right of way
Where do you?
to
we have
legally do
authority over
anything.
it.
And now, we'd be, good examples, I talked about maybe leaving some to send it back to the Legion Home. Dig a pit, whatever, there, if they would be fine with that. Rather we fill it with stone, just leave it detention pond.
Yeah, they could use the
But-
property there.
But again, we don't own that property, and who's gonna maintain that detention pond slash whatever we turned it into?
That's my question, is what
I
is
mean,
our?
there's a cost to
duty
all
or
that, and it's on private
responsibility?
property.
Needs a fence too, right?
It things, yeah, yes, it does, you gotta fence it, keep,
I mean, is this a question
So-
for our attorney or something?
But at the end of the last planning commission, statewide was gonna reach out to all the homeowners. Has that happened?
I heard that they have reached out because Mount Wisconsin said something.
Okay, so
Did they talk to you?
what's the outcome of that?
They didn't talk to
Well,
you
at the end of the meeting,
at
yeah.
the end of the meeting?
We'll look into it.
That's
So there was no talk about a ditch going between,
his is different.
They were
His is
thinking about a
so-
ditch, but,
they were talking about a ditch between you and your new neighbor, right?
Yeah, well,
So they
it
have
wouldn't be
been
on
out
my
there.
property, because
No, it'd be on his, but they have reached out. They have.
I received a phone call that an irate citizen
talk
was
about
talking that they were gonna be putting an 8-foot ditch.
Right.
well, my neighbor that was here, she was here just
So-
to see what's on. They did go in there and put, gas and electrical things in her yard.
But the
They said
mistake
they wanted
didn't
to put a
say anything
ditch
about
in it, but
ditching, it said landscaping.
8-foot landscaping, yeah. So,
Yeah,
so that's gonna run all the water out of the field into a ditch that can't hold the water now, so there you go.
exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
But it
And
sounds like
then,
they,
like she said, I didn't pay all this money to have a ditch in my yard, to look at the plan, so they're really gonna fight that.
It's just gonna add more, which is already overflowing
Yeah,
on your garage side, on the
Yeah,
Belvoir
oh,
Road
yeah.
side.
yeah.
but what I don't, like, but isn't your recourse with your neighbor or the HOA?
They don't have an HOA yet.
Or whatever, the property owner?
The recourse would be against the city if the city allowed them to build non-approved prints. So if you didn't go through the process and approve and check the grades that were
Well,
done.
our city inspector did, all the way through the process, that's how they got built. There was a permit
But
pulled,
not-
right?
Yeah.
So,
But nobody's
Permits
checked,
are pulled.
nobody's checked those grades. How would you have approved a bill 3 feet higher?
I don't know what the builder did.
There's at least 4 locations where you can see the difference. There's all
Oh, I
there and
know,
they're
I know,
existing
I know
on
by
there.
his house, it's drastic.
And I think
can't
he's one of the
have-
lowlands.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm right
situation.
into,
Yeah, where
Everyone in
Bob,
the location.
where his is at, I know, it's like, that, so, yeah, 'cause whatever the city inspector inspector had seen or done, or what they had done at the time to approve it, that's where our liability would be.
I don't know that Mel's shooting grades, though, to tell you the truth.
I don't know.
You know, that's why we should have the responsibility to simply just, you know, what is the as is? It's a simple thing, we solve a problem. I don't know what the as is.
Well, right now, we're talking about the east side of, we're talking about the east
The
side.
3 homes there.
Oh, just those 3 homes?
Can we,
That's what you're,
That's what it says, the three new homes.
so we can modify that, right? Let's, any other
Didn't
feedback?
we talk about the
See
east
what
side about, because we own that 3 acres, isn't there something that we can do on
Yeah,
that?
but so far, yeah,
It's getting
it'd
the
be
water
like
back there, that would be a
reverting
problem.
this direction. God, what is it, their lots are like 250 feet deep, the ones on Belger Road. So, I guess we would need great shots to see what it would take to get it to a detention pond. And that's why we bought that.
and I agree with Steve, we should have somebody go out there, take a look and see which way to make this stuff go.
So,
At least what we know, then we can get on.
And I know
the
I've
building or
talked
whatever
to-
would be-
I've talked to BMJ regarding a detention pond, and I know the past people were talking about putting a pump in it and all that, and they were, no, because now we got another pump to maintain. But I think I got an idea where we can utilize that if we can get water to it, to a detention pond. And we now own, I was always searching for an easement through, like, say, the funeral home property, to run it through and take it right to Main Street and drop it in those drains. Might help people clean too. But
that's for the future, but I mean,
Yeah.
but the only way you're
But I
gonna do
like-
that
I mean,
is to do,
like what Steve's saying, get
elevation,
Yeah.
grade
Right, that's
shots.
something BMJ would have to help.
Is it feasible to take this water from this
Right.
direction, you know, whatever it is?
so in regards to the 3 houses on, I'm sorry, is there any other discussion? I'll make a motion.
Because
Well, just, I do want to make clear that the planning commission did pass on that recommendation, so I would like to know whether.
Well, I'm gonna make that motion right now, I just wanna make sure we've talked about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, as long as that's included, then sure. So I think we need to
Jamie?
honor the recommendation.
Well, I'm getting lost on what recommendation
I'm gonna
the
split it
planning
up.
commission.
On number 1, or number 2, 2.
Number 2, yeah, that's gonna be,
And, well, I guess you're talking about elevations on, there's really 1 and 2.
what would be, I mean, would we want it to encapsulate all of the statewide houses? Just
The
the
whole
kind
area.
of CYA and.
Wouldn't hurt around here. No road
Okay,
there.
so I'll make that motion, are we good?
So it's 1 and 2 you're doing,
Yes.
right? Okay.
I'll make a motion to request BMJ come out and shoot the elevation grades on the 12 houses, well, I guess we could say 13 houses under the Memphis Meadows project, and the 3 houses on the east side of Bell River to help determine drainage issue resolutions. Does that make sense?
Do you want to add an estimate material?
Yes, and estimate materials and costs for culvert repairs and alternative ditching.
Excellent, I think that does it. I would second that.
One second, I'm still writing.
Sorry, that was a long one. I was thinking of it as I was going.
It's good.
Do you have any idea, Bart, offhand, roughly what this will cost for the city of BMJ?
well,
Just
if we try detention pond.
No,
No.
just
Just
the
to shoot
grades,
the
what we're
grades.
talking about, just to kind of
Couple
tell
grades.
us what the
for that?
solution could be.
Yeah, I would venture probably a couple grand.
Okay,
Shouldn't cost the city anything.
$600 to shoot.
because we have.
Should not cost the city
Shouldn't
anything.
cost the city anything. We're gonna pass that on to who?
To the builders,
To the builders.
or the developer, whoever filled out the paperwork for those problems properties.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayram,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes,
Dunbar.
Yes.
there we go, progress.
What, something I
Which
missed
would help
before you guys
with
voted
yours
on.
too. There'll be
Every
some-
comment, I didn't hear
There'll be
what
something.
you missed.
Yeah, at least they're gonna figure out what
Referencing, I missed something.
When,
a solution.
just now?
Just before they took their vote, yeah.
That we would pass that cost on the statewide after we.
Pass the cost of,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Shouldn't cost the city anything
It shouldn't,
to correct these problems.
Yeah.
right.
For it.
First step.
And that will determine the problem.
Okay, So that's all number one?
So that's 1 and 1A, right?
Well, that's, yeah,
And then,
Two.
It's one big beautiful motion. Thank you, Tim.
you got it.
Okay, Dunbar, Grand Trail money.
Were we not talking about one?
We
Oh, yeah. We didn't do the
two,
first
we
one.
did 2-1 and 2
I thought
and
that-
To draft a letter for the retention fund, I feel like that was resolved at the last planning commission meeting.
Yeah, that was not,
Right?
that did not.
I feel like
go
that was
forward.
resolved.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't think I was gonna send a letter, but
No.
I'm not
Was
gonna
it
argue
voted
that
on?
with you. I may
Oh,
have
it was
to
never
be
brought up
details,
as a
I'll take
motion.
that one.
Okay. So, oh yeah, I remember. Okay.
So sorry, I'm trying to move back.
So,
So number,
Dunbar?
Yes.
Is that
Um,
where we're at next?
Yeah.
On Main Street.
The DPW already saw this, but I did take up the liberty of making some mock signs, examples of what I showed you guys previously. So each location would have 2 signs, a just generic "Welcome to Memphis" sign, and then a "Welcome to a place of interest, the Doghouse Tavern." I think I would change the wording on that just to "You've arrived at a place of interest." That way you don't read "Welcome" twice back to back. I know that's silly, but I did add the Historical Society Museum onto the as a place of interest / library. Kept the thing on there. I added a movable feast. I think that's the only substantive change to the signs themselves.
We're gonna have a bakery now.
Oh, is it a bakery?
Go ahead. I don't want to be the bad guy here,
Yeah.
but is it a good idea to put businesses on there?
I'd say just put downtown area.
Okay.
That's what I would think, because
Right,
businesses'
'cause-
names can change at
Because,
any
yeah,
time.
things
you
can
got
change
signs
and
stuff
add,
like
and then
that.
they're gonna have to
You don't want
redo
it to
everything.
where
I
we're,
have favoritism.
It's on city property promoting one and not
Well, there's
another.
that
yeah,
too.
you know,
Yeah.
it's, so if you're gonna promote, like, say, the doghouse, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
gotta promote every darn
Right.
store.
Well, that's just, you'd have to list them all, and it'd be
Right,
like,
and
you
then
know.
now it's full
Yeah.
of
I
everything.
mean,
That was my initial concern. I did
I
end
think
up
we
putting
should just do
businesses, just that I
parks.
thought.
Parks, historical sites, public places.
Downtown.
But like you say, you put downtown business district, that's good.
Central Business District.
Right.
Yeah, just okay, just this, okay. Central
Did you have your meet, didn't you
Are these
have
reflective?
like a meeting set up for?
Those are just mock-ups. Look at the
With like the, like a preliminary plan?
Just the quality.
Oh, I had to turn in the substantive
Those are
report.
professional
Right.
That did get emailed to them. They just responded, "Thanks, that looks great." And then they did provide me with a resource to possibly get free wood chips. It's just a website where you basically say, "Hey, I'm looking for wood chips." You put in your address, and then it gives it to local arborists who will cut down a tree and then just drop
Send it over.
off.
I
wood
know,
chips.
was it Advanced over here? They're always looking for places to get rid of wood chips.
I did reach out to Advanced as well, and they said they would be happy to provide us with some
They're
wood
supposed to
chips.
start dumping, by the way. I was doing some work back in there
Yeah.
with their skid steer, a week or two back.
Okay.
And he was supposed to start dumping me some supplies, some wood chips.
Okay.
So that might.
I know for the area,
before we
I would
start
say.
this.
Yeah.
You're just gonna put a pile there though.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not being moved, yeah.
Which I don't
He
know.
supplies the storybook trail.
A go-ho attitude. Maybe some other people could show up with their wheelbarrow.
But that's where a skid steer really comes in handy. It fits down them, so when I was using the lakes, for example, that fit perfect down some of the smallest trails. It's a
Yeah.
good sized machine and put it in a good sized bucket.
But if we do end up getting the wood chips for free from Advance and that other website, that would mean we have about, I think, $2,000 left to look at. I think the grant was for signage and, getting businesses or getting people attracted to the using of the park. So we would have to,
$4,500 now or something like
yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Put a little spot that says
65.
that. $6,500.
Yeah, so there was the talk about putting the signs within the trail itself. I did get the meeting from the Historical Society's meeting from 2013 where they discussed council approving naming the trail something. I have not yet reviewed our meeting minutes from 2013 to see if that was.
Do you remember that, Eric?
No.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Come on.
It was damn weeks.
2013?
So it would have been, based on their meeting minutes, it would have been November or October of 2013.
I thought we named
Instead of
all the
messing
trails.
around, you remember, because that's like this project.
They never voted on it.
It wasn't that bad.
I don't think it was voted on.
Information
Oh.
I gave him
He
was-
got,
I swore that was the Historical Society meeting minutes.
No,
Okay.
not the city.
Okay. Yeah, so,
So no timeline from them of when they're gonna return approval or funds?
I don't believe they need it. I think the funds have already been given to us, and I don't think they need to approve anything. It was just their way of seeing that we're working on it.
This time, right, but by October, it's gotta be finished,
By
right?
October, it's
Oh,
gotta
we
be.
have to be done by October?
Yes,
Oh.
I would love to be done by Memphis Days.
What are we voting on? What are we waiting for?
Not necessarily voting on anything at this exact moment, as long as we're all okay with the free wood chips, I'm gonna pursue that.
Yeah.
Once we get them,
So if we have extra money though,
yes.
Then we get,
so how many benches are along the trail, like stuff like that?
There's gonna
Maybe
be two
that's-
more added, by the way. I have
Garbage
two up in the
cans.
head crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, garbage
They're
cans.
gonna be going in, yeah.
So in the proposal, I had 2 benches and 2 picnic tables, which I think that would give us a total of 4 benches along the trail, because I think there's 2 present. I think there's 1 picnic table up on top of the hill, so that would give us 3 picnic tables.
Were we gonna put signage out on the main street
By the
to let them
street,
know?
yeah.
I thought we were.
There is, there's a picnic table kinda hidden, through that
It's in
open
there,
field,
yeah.
once you get back by the lake, as we'll call it, to the north.
Yep.
And it's along the riverbank down in there. I
Okay.
don't know where it came from.
there was one up on the hill.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I know, I put that there years ago.
Yeah.
And I had a flagpole at one time that fell down someplace, and then I put it up there, and then it rotted off there.
so,
But yeah, if
So,
we have 2,000, we can.
one
make it.
question, like, we're putting garbage cans out there, and there already are some out there, aren't there?
There's, yeah, I got one at the
So
head of the
the
trail, and
DPW
only one more kinda halfway point.
Yeah.
So the
I took over, they
DPW
broke
changes
it.
them?
Yep.
So, just a small proposal, maybe something to put somewhere along the trail, if the DPW's out there, put it next to one of the garbages, is, one of those doggy doo-doo bag things.
Oh, you want us to do things like that? Why is this?
That's why I would
Wait for your doggy.
no,
I'll
he's
have
saying
that.
put it out there so we could.
So
if
people,
I'm
they're
walking
gonna do
with
it
my
themselves,
dog,
the only thing you'd have to do is replace the
Oh,
bags
okay.
once in a while.
refill the bags,
There's
refill
only
the
a couple
dog
of
bags.
people that do it, I know one that does it, but I don't,
Well, I know
well,
on,
maybe two.
I know on, at a lot of park trails, there's a trash can in the doggy bag.
So I'm just saying, if we have extra money, that's a good thing to.
That is, it's a good idea, especially here you got dedicated trails now, and it is a nice donation walk.
And then additionally, I had talked at the last meeting about doing a specific landing page for the trail and places of interest. I talked to the website guy, and he said he thinks it would take him 2 hours to do it, so it would just be a cost of $150 to get a landing page for the places of interest. Originally, when I was thinking that, it was because I was thinking we could have the opportunity to promote, local businesses where they would have just like a small little blurb about them, which we could still do.
Well, that's gonna be there's gonna be a chamber page, so we can link it.
We'll just link to the chamber page and that'll take care of the businesses.
Okay, and then we had talked about so the specific landing page could just have the map itself and then a link to the chamber page promoting businesses. We also talked about a social calendar, which he said he could just add a tab to the current calendar, so you would just be able to click between city business and social.
Like the things to do.
Yep.
Isn't that- Yeah.
Donna brought up a good point of where does that cost go if we're adding 200 events to our social calendar.
That's a good question.
So
That's a good question for our treasurer.
yeah. So that is something to consider. If we could either ask what's the cost of putting, because I doubt we would see 200 events on our social calendar, but if what would the cost of that be if we're talking $75 a year for?
I would just promote it, you don't have to put it right on the calendar all the time, is that ongoing thing, is that what you're talking about?
I'm so sorry.
How are you talking about putting it on the calendar?
It would
Like
just
if there's gonna
be.
be special events down there or something?
It wouldn't necessarily even be strictly events we're holding. It would give the opportunity to local organizations.
Oh, okay.
Like there's going to be the car show next weekend, right? The Lions Hall would be able to put that on our social calendar. That way, when you're looking for the places of interest, you're also promoting things to do within our community that are not necessarily organized by the city, but they're things worth checking out.
I mean, he's already doing the calendar, I don't think it'll be a,
He just said every time he adds something,
If you go
costs
over
something.
cost.
So I
But he updates it, doesn't he, Donald, with
Yeah.
information,
And
that
he bills
was
us-
part of the cost,
He
wasn't it?
bills us quarterly, right? For so many hours
I'm not
or
sure about
monthly.
that. I think it's monthly, but I'm
For
not
so many
positive.
hours that we agreed.
Yes, but like, well, in the beginning, we went way over because everything was new. We were adding stuff on,
Right.
adding stuff on, and that, it was getting expensive. Like, we're like, wow, is it worth it? So I just want to make sure, or we talked about too, any businesses that want to like join, paying a small fee every year, like a little membership fee to be on there. And
That's a good
They could
idea.
make it part of a, chamber, try to get more people, businesses in the chamber.
yeah, and that's what we wanted to do.
And
We
the
wanted
dues
to do the chamber, and then so if people wanted their stuff on the calendar, then we could
It's
have that.
included in your dues.
Included in the chamber, the chamber fee.
Yeah, and if you're not in the
So-
chamber, you don't wanna join the chamber, you gotta pay for yourself.
Right.
So Ken, are you saying that the tech cost would be $150, put that page together, which they would link to our doc website, is that correct?
correct.
As a one-time cost to create the page?
One-time cost to create the
Now,
page.
We're talking now about if they add things on, how are we gonna
If they add,
schedule those fees and charge those fees?
Absolutely. If
Okay.
they add
I don't know
things
if
to
I'm following that.
That one-time cost comes out of the grant,
it definitely could because it's associated with the,
and you have it all.
There you go,
Yeah.
spend some of that money.
so, yeah, I mean, as long as nobody, I can obviously course correct and make sure I can remove all the businesses, just add this central business district. And then, I think that should be, at the next meeting, I can bring just a printout of what would be the signs in their near final form, and possibly get those ordered and installed by the, hopefully, middle of July.
Excellent.
If not, I got a shovel too, I can go out there and put the signs together.
Rock and roll.
Make it real big.
Yeah, I will.
So do you need a motion to do anything, or we just?
Not, technically, I'm not spending any money yet,
Okay.
it's just as long as we're okay with the free wood chips, I'm gonna pursue that, so. Oh,
Like free things.
love free, can you put a stake somewhere where you would like the pile of wood chips, or just something to indicate to people?
Wanna be along sick, cause I would like to write down the trails. Yeah, I can do that, because I was thinking, even if I got a mobile unit to transport it,
Yeah,
do I wanna put it like at the halfway point, right on top of the grass there? It's quicker, I know when I was doing work, I actually put gravel, by the hill, for example.
Yeah.
But picnic table. That's quite a drive all the way back all the time to get to that point, and I think the wood chips, why not put them to where I call a halfway point? In fact, it walks right into a garbage can. It's kind of more open there. So if we dumped it there, we could transport it both directions then
okay,
with it.
so just.
So I could put a stake back in it, but I just make sure it's dry, you know. So if Mike's doing, I can kind of tell him.
Yeah, you can just tell.
You take
tell
these
Mike.
back here because it's
Yeah.
quite a slope back in there, and if they spin their tires on a wet day or something.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
with the website, if we're getting free ones from them, it'll be people not outside of our community, so
Yeah.
I want to give them some sort of indicator.
For sure, yeah.
Where they can put it.
Yep.
Okay. Done?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Number 3, DPW, put her in the backhoe.
Yeah. Okay, I believe you had at least a short letter in your packets, because I had so many pages for costs of repairs and such on it. And did everybody read that memo?
Yeah.
So where we stand, I think the council, what I referenced here was a figure of $13,681.18. Well, since then, I think that was around the 12th, if I look through things. The 27th, I got an update. That didn't resolve the issue. It took care of the front half of it, but the backhoe itself ran sluggish yet, slow, and it needed more work. I think it came around a $12,000 figure. Anyway, just shot it to $26,000. concern is because 445 hours ago, or 2 years ago, we dumped,
12,000, right?
no, 20,000 actually into it, 19 something it was. And only for it to fail. Just a little something here. The chances of a backhoe with metal shavings in the hydraulic system lasting after repair are significantly reduced. It can vary depending on the extent of the damage and the thoroughness of the repair. While a complete flush and filter replacement can help, metal shavings can cause abrasive damage to components, potentially leading to future problems. Which this is happening. In summary of that, while a thorough repair can address immediate issues of metal shavings, it's unlikely to fully restore the hydraulic system to its original condition. The backhoe may experience reduced lifespan, increased maintenance needs, and a higher likelihood of future problems. Again, it's been 2 years and only 445 hours, and it crashed with no warning.
Life expectancy of the machine generally?
What's
The life
that?
expectancy of the machine, we get X amount of hours, what's the normal runtime for a machine?
About 6,000 to, I've even seen them say 8,000 hours, but again, that takes maintenance to get them that far.
Right.
Maybe not like what we've been dumping into this one.
How many hours are we at right now?
We've got about 2,445 hours, 2,445 hours. We rebuilt it at 1,995 hours.
And there was no sort of warranty for the work done 2 years ago?
No. Well, and you're not.
Is there any warranty on this work?
But the only cure to this, and I wouldn't want to do this, you would have to remove every hose, every line, every valve, every cylinder. You'd have to replace 100%. And I want to say even the tank. The hydraulic. I couldn't even guesstimate how many thousands it would cost. So that's why I went ahead and I kind of worked something with the case, where it's at now. And let me get that page. I just don't feel it's wise to put another $26,000. We'll have like $46,000 into this thing in 2 years' time. And it's low hour, that's nice, but I'm sorry, just bear with me for a second. I got the right page. Yeah, these are all the invoices here, and then I happen to see, because I brought AIS in to work on it, and for some time it was giving him issues, so whereas he could possibly test in that, he needed a little more arm or whatever, so he took it outside. He drove it outside, it would mess up. It ran beautiful until the next day. And that's why I said, no, we're going to go southeast, because I've been down that road before. And, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. What I'm proposing is a new machine.
Oh boy.
Right now, the list price for a case 580N, they're stickering for $177,372. 12 years ago, the one we bought sticker for probably 130 some thousand, we picked it up for 75,000. Anyways, with our municipal discount and such, one page for that. I just cut right to the chase. We can get a brand new backhoe. It's $113,057.84. I talked him down another $3,000. Feels himself down. July 1st, or after you just adopted that budget, I believe I have like $75,000, which I did not want to. I have other things to use that for, but to go new, we would need $38,000 out of the general fund, along with my equipment replacement money.
Is that Now, that is both taken out of roads and water?
No, like
So-
a general fund. We,
No, I mean for the use of that,
we pay, yeah, we pay rent. If I use it in Major Street, we pay rent on that, for, on that piece of equipment.
To-
In local street, we pay rent. Water and sewer, we pay rent. Like right now, I got an 8-inch line up at the lagoons. Haven't been able to do that. And I sure was gonna pay $5,000 to a company to do it. So, but all the while, if it's 5 hours or 2 hours, whatever it is, the state sends us a cost per hour on different equipment. And I forget, right now it's right around $40 an hour. So for every hour I'm in water or sewer,
that's where it goes.
to the general fund
Okay.
for equipment rental. On the budget, you would see equipment
I just
rental.
remember some talk about that, it's gonna, just.
I just, without getting too deep into this, I highly recommend, I mean, it's your choice. We could dump $26,000 into this thing, and I don't think it's gonna last us, but,
Did we already put the 13,000, we already have to pay that too already?
oh, and that's another thing is, if we bought this new machine, they're only gonna give us 18.5, because our machine is still cut in half, if you will. They're gonna give us 18.5 plus not charge us for what they have done on it, which is right around $20,000 or so. So technically, they're giving us 18.5 and they're wiping off the 20, so now we're up to 40-some thousand. The machine valued right around $50,000 if it ran.
Come with a
I
warranty?
thought about rebuilding and selling it, but I put the clear
Can we
counsel.
get the extended warranty on it?
Does the new one come with a
A
warranty?
new one, you can get extended warranty, it does come with a warranty anyways, yeah, with the, on the new one.
On the hydraulic?
It's a, yeah, well, the whole machine comes with.
Try to get that 8,000.
For $3,000, you can get an extended warranty for $3,000 more, but that was a little higher than I thought it would be, but.
Yeah, but it saves conversations like this.
Yeah. Larry, budgetarily, how bad is that?
Spending money is always a problem.
I know, I knew you were gonna say that.
Everybody doesn't like it. No, I talked to Bart on this extensively over the last few days on this, and it's up to council, as you know.
Yep.
My recommendation would be that you buy another. We got $50,000 in the equipment replacement fund right now, and then we budgeted effective July 1st, it'd be another $25,000. So technically, we have $75,000. And I know he went through some payment plans and so on, but to my, I would pay it all. And I'm really anxious to get the audit done where I can evaluate everything. But that's going to take some time. But at the end of the fiscal year last year, starting July 1st last year, whatever, we had approximately $1.1 million in our rainy day fund. Now that's taken some tremendous hits this year with various things we had to buy. But there was still taking another 38,000. Oh, I kind of choked on that, but yeah, I think
At the DPW meeting, we explored possibly the leasing programs that you could get them for.
Yeah, I forgot the numbers and all that. That's not advantageous to the city to do that way. They did have like 5-year programs at 5.79% interest. Option one was the payment was $26,000 for the first year. Upon closing, I'm buying the machine, you'd have to come up with $26,000. And then 4 more years at that. Of course, now, because of the interest, you're not paying $113,000 for it anymore. You're gonna be up to $130-some thousand.
Well, that's financing it.
Financing,
He was
yeah.
talking about leasing.
Yeah,
Leasing, yeah, I talked to Semco Energy, because they used to do that.
Yep.
Maybe I talked to you about that. They stopped doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, and one thing they're getting away from is backhoes. You'll see more and more mini excavators they're finding it more cost efficient to rent as they need them. We could rent the backhoe, but now we gotta pay to get it here all the time. From here to Richmond, we're probably talking a couple $100.
And when you have your water main breaks, you're gonna have to sit
I never-
waiting on that.
It's like right now, I've been on hold,
Good idea.
I've been on hold for 7 weeks, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's so much damn work out there that I had to catch up on.
What
We
would
were
this-
bucket brigading, filling holes today.
So one of my questions, 2,445 hours we had on that backhoe. you said.
2,445 hours when
Over
I,
how long?
12 years. We roughly average, like 203 hours, it's an oddball number, per year. So again, it doesn't get a lot of use, but
That's-
it's
yeah,
one of my main
So that's what I was
backhoes.
thinking, like, would it be, yeah.
I need a piece of machinery to, you know, to shovel coal patch. It's one thing to shovel out of a bucket into a hole, but to shovel it into a pail and then carry those pails to the site when you
You gotta
need
move a
a
tree
tough,
once in a while, there's no end, and they use a piece of equipment like that for the city.
you know, I would love to have something like a mini excavator because they just fit nicer and they don't do so much damage.
You don't get that bucket.
But I need a blade, I need that front loader portion of it. And the other thing with the mini excavator, then I need a low boy to haul it everywhere. I don't know where the tracks off it.
You know, we don't have the capability of moving a machine ourselves. Say if we approached Richmond, we're like, hey, we're gonna lease your machine 10 hours a week or something.
No, we'd have to buy a low boy and my truck probably would tow it. But, and now we gotta store this, I'm running out of room telling you guys. I normally get Wards, it's like Wards charge us $650 to take it to Novi. His price normally is $800, I think it was, but he did break. 2 years ago, I actually pulled a favor and I had it haul for nothing in both directions. I didn't have any more favors, and I had to get it down there. And every time they cracked it loose, there was another problem. It's up to you if you want to spend the money and repair it, but it's like when that went down on me this year, I didn't even see it coming. Normally there was we'd see signs of something happening. This one from running great, digging great, till bang, nothing. Until the repairman showed up and they started working.
So you're saying 113K new, we have to come up with 38 right away?
Upon closing of it, everybody.
Okay, and they'll give us 13, was that, what are they gonna give us on the old one?
18.5
They'll
as
give us
it says.
18.5 and forget about the bill.
And then they're gonna eat what they've done to it already. Which kind of brings it near the cost of the machine.
Yeah,
I only have a choice to repair it and sell it. Well, you wanna sell that machine to somebody in your
if it was
town?
my machine, I would want to be taking a chance on it. I mean, I just tell you personally, I wouldn't want to.
I don't like gamble to start with. I sure don't want to roll taxpayers.
We gotta have that piece of machinery around the city.
Any other questions?
You said something about a skid steer. Would that be?
Skids would be real handy, but I seem to have accessibility to them, so I don't push too hard. And 401, I seem to know a person here, a person like Mike came about, I was able to use his to do a little work on the trails, and boy, that was a mistake for him to let me borrow his. 'Cause that's a perfect size. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, would that be a perfect size as a replacement to?
I still would need somehow to dig holes.
Yeah, that's the only drawback. You can have it put through
I know.
in front of them. They're great machines, they really are.
In fact, a lot of municipalities, they seem to have skid steers now, but again, this is Memphis, we can't afford it. I'll live with it, but I know I need it back. I need to dig, and I need to scoop.
I know. Wishful thinking.
And I'm not a gambler, like I said, just because of 2 years ago and what they keep coming across and just looking at the odds of this, going another 5 years. I thought when we bought that would be the last backhoe I would ever, in my lifetime here.
Is that rated at 6,000 hours too, Bart, new? new machines, it's still
They're
6,000?
about 6,000, I see them, they say up to 8,000, if you Google it, yeah. And I get more hours you get on it, it all depends on the maintenance part of it. You're gonna always have some form of maintenance. The key thing is oil changes, obviously, and I mean, not just the engine oil, but your hydraulic fluids.
Was that all done on that one?
This is a brand new one I'm talking about, by the way.
No, I know, but
Our old one, I think they had already drained oil, put new fillers on it. Yeah, that was in that $13,000 figure. And they even put a new hydraulic tank on it at that time, a new pump. A couple valves.
Bart, I gotcha. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a new city backhoe in the amount that Bart had quoted for us. What was it, 113 and change?
Yeah, $113,057.84.
That, in that amount.
113,057.84.
And that's trading in the other one.
Yes.
I'll second.
Did we want the extended warranty?
Oh, wait, yeah, hold on.
They're delivering it for nothing, by the way.
I'm sorry, for 116 because we want the extended warranty. We want to include the extended warranty.
Yeah, it's up to you.
So 116.
I didn't want to get greedy on it.
Good call, Donna.
how long is the extended?
When you pay it out of
That's
pocket,
a
the price does
3-year,
nothing but
and
go up.
anything under warranty, you don't pay their travel time. And that's like what gets costly, at over $200 an hour, you're paying it from the time they leave.
Well, and if it's covered by warranty, instead of paying out of pocket, the price you pay now in 4 years is gonna be way more than it is today. So
Okay, yeah.
might as well have it under warranty right away.
AIS, for example, when they came out for the few hours they were here, I see a bill waiting in my mailbox there from them. That turned into $1,300,
Okay.
and they did nothing.
So we got
Okay, Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Only because Larry said so, but yes.
You're putting it on me, eh?
Well, you're the one I trust with the money.
Yes.
Oh, boy, I was hoping the salesman would be here tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, new business.
Thank you very much.
Resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2025-26 budget.
We just need a motion, right? Do you want me to just read this paragraph?
This is Ranklin.
Oh, wait. I'll make a motion to adopt the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget as outlined in the memo we have.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Oh, good, yeah, I know.
Number 2, administrative memo regarding budget amendments, number 5.
Nobody has a comment, I'll make a motion to approve of budget amendment number 5.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
New computers. Donna?
Okay, they're like discontinued, kind of like Windows 10, and our computers, not all of them, but 6 computers and 2 of the laptops for the police cars all need to be updated as well. So what I'm asking for is us in the police department to buy the computers we need. I would like to pay for them out of this year. They wouldn't be installed till next fiscal year, and then pay the labor out of next fiscal year.
And VC3 is okay with that?
I talked to them and he said they've done that before, because we're so close to our year, they can't get it installed right away this year anyhow.
What total cost, I don't know, this year, next year,
The cost for the computers we would pay for this year.
which is,
I'm sorry, it's in here, $6,901.92. And then, and I have it in my budget and he has it in
That's
his
the
already.
latest windows, is 11 the latest
Yes.
edition of windows?
Yeah, it is.
And then the labor, you know, we would pay for our own next
And
fiscal
it's
year, which I
it's
did
already
budget
in
for
their
some of that
budget.
already.
So,
I will say the flat rate for installing seems crazy high to me.
Oh, we've talked to them about that, and they came down on their computers, they would not budge on that. Labor, he had a problem with that too,
'Cause honestly-
especially because they're coming out to just one building here, and yes.
I Googled it, and it
And
looks
they
like
won't.
Geek Squad does it for like $200. Like,
What do they want?
So I'd be worried about, because we have a standing relationship with BCP.
Yeah.
They're tech
fix our
people.
software,
They
everything.
do all of
Got
our
deep tech
stuff.
people happy.
And they also do our email stuff that you set
Yeah,
up and.
They do everything.
So what
that
about
would
when
be-
we move to the new?
So we get savings on something.
I would like to do mine then, but I don't know when we're gonna move in, and these gotta be done before October, because that's when it's obsolete. But if they can wait till, like, the police can have theirs right away.
Right.
But if they can wait till we move the new building, that'd probably be better for me.
But you can work that out with them if we approve.
If
we
you
vote
approve, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll take care of all the, like, the timing and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, as long as they
The
go for
police will
it.
get theirs right away then, as soon as possible.
Well, I would move that we accept the clerk's recommendation.
Hold on, Dave.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
remember, we ran into this with the fire department last year. You gotta have the thing delivered in the same year that you're paying for it.
Yeah, they will be delivered
Okay.
here. I'm just hoping they won't install until we go there.
Gotcha, okay.
Good
same
call,
fiscal year?
Oh, Steve was making
The
a
budget.
Yeah, I would make a motion to accept the clerk's recommendation for updating the computers.
Support.
Wayron,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
No.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Okay, got Wayram, Zimmer, Harper, Mazer, Sofa, Weaver, yes. Dunbar, no, so motion carried.
All right, planning commission, new appointments.
So, I have a question on this. We have one seat available. We have 3 people who have it on here. So, how are you gonna do this?
Well, I put who,
I
this,
see the 3.
I put who asked first, who asked second, who asked third.
Okay.
I just, at that time, I didn't think, because of, the interest going on with the Bell River thing, but then I talked to our attorney, because everybody was calling, who was from that area, and I needed somebody on, and.
Are they all here?
No, one is.
Just
The
one?
one was here earlier and then the other's not. So I was just thinking, there's a few ways we could do it. We could make a list of your top 3, first, second, thirds. Or you could just go with your.
It's just Tammy appoints and then we vote on
Standard
it.
points.
In the past, hasn't it always gone off the list that Donna keeps in the office?
Right, and whoever asks first.
And it goes in order of that.
Yeah, my list is these 3 people right now. Someone else dropped off, so.
You have on there who's for.
And I got who asked first, who asked second. I put them all on just because, like I said, it's, she doesn't have to pick any of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so she didn't pick one, I didn't want to say, well, what about this one, so I just put them all 3.
So, Candy appoints, we approve, or however.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then it's slightly unrelated, but at the, I would mention to you specifically, Steve and Tammy, since you're both on the planning commission. The planning commission's definition of conflict of interest is a lot more thorough than the one that was given to us by Mr. Francis. So you might want to amend that to be more in line with his advice, or.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I got it right here, but I didn't have enough copies to print for all of us. But it's in the bylaws, which they approved in 2023. I actually wrote most of them, but it's a lot more comprehensive.
What's your quick take on it?
Yeah,
What's
so-
the conflict of interest then?
Well, so issuing, deliberating, or voting on, or reviewing a case concerning work on land owned by the member or which is adjacent to land owned by the member for the purposes of determining a conflict of interest. Adjacent shall be land that is within 300 feet or within the area of legal notice. In the event 2 or more commissioners are determined to have conflict of interest for owning property within 300 feet, adjacent property shall be property that is contiguous. I did point this out to Mr. Francis when I met with him in December of 2023, and was like, I did this very deliberately, and it was just to avoid the appearance of impropriety. He was fine with it then. That being said, that is not what I got from his
What he said
from his
now.
definition of conflict of interest.
So my question
Put it on hold again.
would be, is this a situation that it can be more strict but not less strict? Like the planning commission can vote and decide and say, we can be more strict
Absolutely.
than what is outlined by the city. And did the planning commission vote and approve that?
They did.
So anyone with adjacent property or which is within 300 feet would be ineligible from serving on the planning commission?
It's not.
They couldn't vote on those topics.
Oh, they could vote on those topics?
That's all, which is fine with.
Yes.
If they want to plan on everything else.
Because what we want to
Because it's the same for
avoid is
council,
having,
too.
like, if 4 people were, and there's something that they're voting on, that would.
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
try
fine,
to-
they would just have to recuse themselves from that particular vote, which I don't see a problem with.
Absolutely. Which this outlines in that, it actually tells you to get up and leave the table during deliberation,
Right.
but it was
That's only if it's adjacent to your property, that's,
yeah.
you know, honestly, I know you got something going on now, but it's pretty rare.
I'm not gonna be able to cite the case law, but again, we got an opinion from our attorney. We have this, and I understand it perfectly. However, I think there is an option to it, that case comes down to it, that if the other members of the body feel that this person is responsible and a disinterested party, that they may excuse him from recusing himself. But it's always a good idea
that would go
to
against-
put your
that goes
cards out,
against
to
your
be
bylaws.
transparent, say, I own a lot next door.
So you'd have to change your bylaws?
No.
Well,
If
no, I'm
if
not
there's a
saying you do
question
it.
whether a conflict of interest exists or not, the question shall be put before the commission. Whether a conflict of
Oh,
interest
okay.
exists or not shall be determined by the majority
So
vote of the remaining
You
commission.
covered it.
So it's good. All right.
I spent so much time on
Yeah,
these
that's cool.
freaking
Yeah.
bylaws. Didn't sleep for months. That being said,
So Tammy has to appoint someone
yeah,
and then we vote, right?
yes.
Well, if the first person that volunteered, that requested to be is Jamie Helzer, I would ask to appoint Jamie Helzer as on the planning commission.
What's the name?
Jamie?
Jamie Helzer.
I motion to confirm the appointment of Jamie Helzer to the planning commission for the, what would the term be? It should be the remaining term of Larry's, but I'm not sure what that is.
Larry, do you remember?
Whatever that was.
I got it here somewhere. I do have it.
Don't go to.
2027.
Okay. Through July of 2027.
Yep.
Support?
Who supported, I'm sorry?
Tim.
Okay, Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayron.
Yes. And then the other 2 would stay on the list.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know, come on, we need too many people.
Choice 1 CD renewal.
Larry got that.
Okay. I tried to get that interest rate higher. I called the power to be, but they wouldn't go any higher than 2.96. And I think the prior one, I'm going from memory, but I think it was 3.69 or something.
Well, we thought it was 3.69, the way they rolled it up, and I think that's what we told yous.
Yeah.
And then it came back, and it says your current right now is 2.69. So I called there, and Larry went to talk to them, and they just do theirs very weird. So I asked if I could,
It's a daily compared.
well, everyone does daily, but like Comerica will always send me things daily to show me what it is, and I kind of watch it, and it's not. So I asked them if they could do that, and they don't do that. So I never know what it's gonna be really until I turn it in. And because this was before the council meeting came up, and before I got the votes, it automatically renewed anyhow.
Okay.
But that is a low rate.
So anyway, it's 3.69, so.
2.96.
And that was for a term of 6 months, right?
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
Would it behoove
Wait,
us to look at?
was this 6 months or a year, Larry?
I think that was 6 months.
This is 6 months, it
Okay.
says November.
It says in November 14th
November,
of
yeah, so
25.
6 months.
Would it behoove us to look at other institutions? 2.6 is very low.
It's very low, but
There's a lot of
I
goes with it.
think we're gonna find that we may have to tap that. Because we're hitting that rainy day fund pretty hard. So I would go with that at this point, rather than try to.
That's definitely an option 6 months from now.
Oh, yeah.
Shop.
Yeah, because we're gonna go to the next one in a minute, and I'll tell you what that's probably gonna be.
So we need to, I'll make a motion to renew the Choice One Bank CD through November 2025, November 2025,
November 14th.
November 14th, 2025.
Support.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
And the next one is Co-America. And the rate right now, and Donna checked it today, is 4.10. And so we check that daily, and that's not up for, what's the date, this renewal here?
This is through December of
The
25.
6th, I think that's on Friday, right?
So she'll check that at that time, but I would think it'll be somewhere in that range,
It's gonna
so
probably stay the same.
4.10.
So they determine interest payments daily, so it floats.
But I've been watching them and they've been pretty steady, so I think we'll be okay with them.
And is that what usually a 6 month or a 12 month?
It is a 6 month. It's through December 5th, 25.
December 6th. Oh, no, December 5th, yep.
Next November, you might want to switch
Put it on
Choice One over
America.
on America.
We're just
Look
at our
at it a month
maturity
in
date.
advance
Between the two banks.
before the automatic.
Yeah. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Make a motion to renew the Comerica Bank CD through December 5th, 2025.
Support.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar.
Yes.
Zoning board reappointments. Reappointing Keith Mazer, H. Powers, and Pat Henley to zoning board of appeals, term to end July 2028.
Do they all,
Kevin.
I talked to them, they all wanna,
but they all ended in 2028?
yeah.
I motion to reappoint K. Mazer, H. Powers, and P. Henley to zoning board of appeals with a term to end in July 2028.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
One is 1 year, it's every year, he has to be reappointed. And the other two are years, yeah.
Fire department invoice.
Yeah. So later this year, St. Clair County is converting their radio systems for both police and fire to an encrypted system. We have a bunch of older radios right now, including all the radios in our trucks, that can't go to the encrypted system as is. But we found a place down in Texas that will convert them for us for $350 a piece instead of $3,000 a piece for new radios. So that's what this invoice is for.
Thank you for finding
Another
those
one.
savings.
Another one of those unfunded mandates from
And we need them because that's our system, so if you're okay, Tammy, I can make a motion. I make a motion to have these radios switched over for test tune the line firmware update and add the encrypted capabilities in the amount of $2,442.70.
Just so you know, I have a few more that we have to do also, so there'll be another bill coming.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Herper,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Number 9, millage for the school.
Now, you're not actually voting on the millage, you're actually voting that they could put it on a summer bill, summer.
Okay.
So what is the, what we collect for them, and we have to do this every single year, instead of like doing it now and it's good for 5 years, we have to do this every year.
Are we able to collect any money for doing that?
Administration.
I know at one time we couldn't. All right.
I don't think we get
I
any.
would think that
I
would,
believe you could, but no one really does.
Okay.
I feel like that,
I didn't
Me and
know
Amber
if that's.
kind of looked into that a while ago, and we're like, yeah, nobody's really doing it, we look like for.
Okay.
I feel like that wouldn't go over
I
very
didn't know
well.
if that had changed.
It just seems like we're trying to profit.
Have the school give us money so we can use it.
So I make a motion to approve the 2025 tax rate request for us to collect for the school. Doesn't have the date on here, but it's in October, you said?
In the summer,
In the summer.
on the summer.
In the summer, that's what I
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yes.
Herper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Okay. Executive session.
Yeah, we need a motion to go into executive session.
The motion to move to executive session.
Support.
Everybody has to
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar,
Yeah, yes.
Herper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa, Weaver.
Yes.